So if you missed my last video, this is Kennedy Carter. She played for the Chicago Sky last year, and she has not been signed this year after playing in China. Now, a lot of people weighed in on my thoughts about the fact that she has not been signed yet. Here are some of the things that people said. Now, this person, clearly a pet lover, felt the need to get into their feels and call her a thug. That's not what a thug is. Glenda also felt the need to call her a thug. Now, a thug, according to this definition, is a violent, aggressive person, especially one who is a criminal. He was attacked by a gang of thugs. I would hardly categorize her as a thug. Now, we know why a lot of people use that word, but this guy was a thug. I'd say he's a thug. Thug? No. She's just an intense, emotional basketball player that needs some guidance. She needs some mentoring. And some of the comments were a little bit more thoughtful and more spot on. Yeah, here's another stupid one right here. So here's one that felt the need to throw in Team Clark there at the end. That's called a microaggression, and that is somebody basically outing themselves without actually saying it. Here's another one. She's like a wild animal. So I think language matters, and I don't think this is helpful, and I don't think it's accurate at all. Now, why is this one so difficult for people to say? She's good, but sometimes seems like if someone's difficult to work with, the teams may not want to take a chance. That seems reasonable. Or this one. Now, this seems reasonable, but I don't know how this person could know that unless they talked directly to a WNBA player that was her teammate, like I have. Now, this is a thoughtful response, firm and to the point, about a morality clause. Now, for those of you that don't know, this is Draymond Green. He went to Michigan State, played for Coach Izzo, and he's been with the Golden State Warriors his whole career, and he's won 4 championships. Now, he damn near strangled people several times, been suspended multiple times, gets lots of technical fouls. I really don't hear people calling him a thug. They just say he needs help. And if he had been on the Washington Wizards his whole career, would people view him differently? But he gets a pass because he's a guy, and he's won championships. Are guys like Dylan Brooks viewed the same way? Or Anthony Edwards? Or Ja Morant? He's just a dumbass. Just like when we talk about Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark as being generational players, it has nothing to do with the fact that they're black or white. It just has to do with the fact that they're relatable and that they can do things that we've never seen before. But back to my comment earlier about the fact that I talked directly to a former teammate of Kennedy Carter's who agrees with many of you that it may help her to take a year off and to work on herself. Now, I'm not agreeing or disagreeing with her assessment of the situation, but I will say this. The WNBA for 27 years has had an issue until the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark, came into the league with relatability. And it is difficult for a lot of people, general managers and coaches, to wrap their head around giving somebody like Kennedy Carter another chance. But I think she deserves another chance because we've seen it in other leagues. But she has to be willing to meet everyone halfway, and I think the morality clause is a great idea. And I have no problem with people having strong opinions, but I would just challenge a lot of you to use more thoughtful language and just think of it as this being your own daughter, maybe. Now, if you've enjoyed the video thus far and you'd love to follow me for more thoughtful comments, stories, opinions about mental health, sports, and other things, eventually TikTok shop, would love for you to show some social digital currency. Now, I'm going to take the time now to share a story with you. This is me using AI, and I think it's hilarious. But I want to share a story with you that happened with one of my players who went through a very difficult time when she played for me when I was a community college head coach about 15 years ago. So one of my players was with a guy, and he ended up shoplifting a woman's purse. Now, she didn't necessarily know that he was going to do that. She was so nervous and frantic afterwards. She got hungry, and she was so upset that they went to, I think it was a Jack in the Box, and they used the credit card from the purse to make like a $10 purchase. And what turned out to be a misdemeanor was now a felony. So she ended up being arrested and went to jail. And her mom basically said, I'm not bailing her out. She can sit in jail for a while. Now, while she was in jail, she was still in school, obviously, and she was a 2-sport potential Division I caliber player in lacrosse and in basketball. And she wasn't very good in basketball until I got a hold of her. But, you know, your boy molded her, developed her into a really good basketball player. So she was offered a scholarship to Liberty University on the East Coast. But she couldn't leave the state because she had a felony. So she had to get special permission from a judge. So we're in court with all kinds of unalivers, and she's the last one to go. This is after lunch. There was a lunch break. The prosecution couldn't come at a reasonable time before lunch, so we had to wait until after lunch. So she comes up, she explains her story, and while she was in jail, she was doing her homework still. She was on time to graduate, and she had paid all her fines that were due, and she was going to pay all the court costs. She had no disagreements there. She seemed to have learned her lesson. But she was a light-skinned African-American woman, and sometimes you just never know how these things go. So she gets up, shares her story. Now, the judge is blind. He was a very famous judge for a case here near where I live. And she explains that she wants to go across state lines to Liberty University in order to play Division I sports. And he stops her and says, "Liberty? Why not Richmond? Why not the Richmond Spiders?" And we're all looking around like, what in the world? I'm sort of smirking. And then he continues. Mind you, there's nobody else in the courtroom except the prosecution, her defense attorney, me, her mom, her dad, and that's it. We're the only ones left in the court. And he continues, the judge, being him, "Did you know that the Richmond Spiders are the only school with spiders as their mascot?" And she's like, "Oh, well, I don't know. They're the only ones that offer me a scholarship." And I was there as a character witness. They didn't need me. And he was basically like, "Well, what does the prosecution think?" And the prosecution was like, "Well, we don't disagree. We think that she's doing a great job. She made a mistake." And so the judge, he was like, "Just don't screw it up." You know, sometimes it's not enough just to go to bat for someone. You need to go above and beyond. Not that that's what I did. I just showed up. And I tried, and I still do, to try and mentor. And even with Kennedy Carter, I reached out to someone and was like, "Look, man, when all this was going on, I was like, can you just check on her mental health? I care about nothing else. I don't even know her. May not ever meet her. But that's what it takes. It takes a village. It takes sometimes a stranger to reach out. And that may be the one thing that helps somebody turn the corner versus doing something silly and they're not here anymore. So instead, next time you think of calling someone some words that have connotations that shouldn't, especially when it comes to athletes, who just because they're professional athletes, it doesn't mean that their problems all go away. Some have some deep-rooted issues that still haven't been resolved, have cultural issues, and to oversimplify it with a word like thug, or she needs prison time, it's just not right. Anyways, this is Hootie Hoot. Hope you guys have a great day. And these are my thoughts on Kennedy Carter, and I guess a few other things. Till next time, much love. And remember, the world's a better place with you in it. Even if you've made mistakes, and remember, your past does not define you. And it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Peace. Oh, and by the way, my former player, she's married now to a military man with 2 kids, and she's doing great.